For this week's devotional, the question is, do you need solitude to have the best spiritual life possible? Henri Nouwen seems to think so. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I think, and I'm not talking about solitude all the time. I'm talking about some time during the day spending in quiet with God. Does that reinforce your spiritual life and make your spiritual life better? I'm going to tell you that I agree with Henri Nouwen, but I think you have to make the decision for yourself. So we continue in our journey with our book about prayers for ministers and for those that are servants for the Lord, meaning all of us. And so listen to the reflection from Henri Nouwen about solitude. Without solitude, it is virtually impossible to live a spiritual life. Oh, this is much more than what I just said, right? I said to live your best spiritual life. Do you need some solitude during the day? He's taking it much further than what I said. He's pushing that boundary. Without solitude, he says it's virtually impossible to have a spiritual life. Solitude begins with a time and place for God and Him alone. Okay, I still agree with that. What about you? Solitude, a time and place to be just with God. If we really believe not only that God exists, but also that He is actively present in our lives, healing, teaching, and guiding, we need to set aside a time and a place to give Him our undivided attention. I'm with that. And He gives us some scripture to go along with that. From Matthew 6, verse 6, Jesus says, "Go to your private room, and when you have shut the door, pray to your Father who is in that secret place." So if you remember that scripture, it talks about don't make a show of your prayers. And yeah, I think we all agree with that. And then there's more. Be in that quiet place, a time for just you and God in prayer, in relationship together, in that intimate place of building a better relationship. Now, he also goes on to talk about spiritual life and building it, but he's not alone. Listen to George MacDonald from A Life Essential. "The words of the Lord are the seed sown by the sower. Into our hearts they must fall, that they may grow. Meditation and prayer must water them, and obedience keeps them in the sunlight. Thus will they bear fruit for the Lord's gathering." So I think these two guys are saying the same thing. We do need some quiet time with God so that we can build the relationship and so that the seeds can grow. The words of the Lord are the seeds sown by the sower, and in our hearts they must fall that they may grow. Meditation and prayer must water them. Okay, and then one step further before we end, it's not just about solitude, it's obedience keeps them, that would be the seeds that are growing, keeps them in the sunlight. Thus they will bear fruit for the Lord's gathering. I think we have one step further than just solitude. Solitude helps us to build a good relationship with God, and the meditation and the prayer life, the prayers water those seeds that God plants deep within our souls so that they grow and so that we can then go out and pass on the harvest. All right, as always, I look forward to our time each week. I hope this gives you some things to think about. It certainly gives me some things, and we'll talk more next week. Take care.